everyone besides COVID-19, one of the hottest topic around is cryptocurrency.
Welcome to the world. Bitcoin festival ever happened in the history with world-class top speaker.
And we believe that Bitcoin is the best financial instrument to store your wealth against inflation and capture the value of your hard work so that it won't leak.
So the very, very good ideology about decentralized, one perfect example that would be Bitcoin. No governments in the world can manage it. It's 100% decentralized to every common man across the planet.
Bitcoin is deemed property by the IRS, and most countries deem it as property, which makes it an asset, not a currency. And the strongest currency is the dollar, and the strongest asset is Bitcoin.
It's not what I want or you want, it's what the institutions want. Institutions that are just stepping in or considering getting involved in allocating to crypto want one thing, Bitcoin. We're not going to print $2 trillion worth of paper. That currency is going to be digital.
So here's stocks. The government will make sure it doesn't crash. Gold will not crash, but crypto could. You know why? Because the Fed doesn't want it. Because the reason I like crypto, the reason I buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that stuff, is I don't like the Fed.
Hello, I'm Dr. 𝐒𝐸𝐤𝐚𝐥, Bitcoin Academy Lead Professor. I will teach you how to know exactly when to buy Bitcoin and what the Bitcoin and the other crypto are going to do in the coming months.
Biggest gathering of Bitcoin enthusiasts coming together to create an extraordinary movement.
The Global Bitcoin Festival in this October. And this is a gathering of industrial experts and enthusiastic, passionate Bitcoin community. It is a movement. This movement aims to update, to promote, to educate the adoption of Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to join this movement. Yeah, sign up for the link below for this movement, the Global Bitcoin Festival. And I'll see you there. Wow. Thank you, team, for finishing that video. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to Bitcoin Byte. Yesterday, another news from China. Yeah, Alibaba will stop allowing the sales of Bitcoin mining machine on their platform. Now, I don't know whether this has impacted the price or not. So China has not finished yet, but Bitcoin price moved a little bit lower to 41,000 and then now moved to 42,000. Yeah. Now on the longer term, when I say longer term is 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, where will Bitcoin be? Why do we think that despite all this news, right, from China and from all the other places, Bitcoin is bullish? So this is what we are going to discuss today. My name is Richard Tan from Success Resources. We are the world leading education provider every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are streaming just live on Facebook and YouTube. We're making videos on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin investing. So if this is a topic you'd like to learn more about, make sure you subscribe to our channel, thumbs up for algorithm, and also click the notification bell so whenever we have a video, you are the first to know. But also don't forget to invite your friend to this channel too. I'm very delighted to bring my friend, Dr. Clemen Chiang, to the program. Now, he's no stranger to many of you. Many of us have learned from him. He's an authority in financial investing and also a well-known teacher to many thousands and thousands of students all over the world. Welcome, Dr. Clemen.
Wow, Richard, thank you for having me in your show. And thank you very much to all of you who are tuning in live. Thank you so much.
Wow, today time flies. We are in midweek already. Now let's start off our program with a recent interview from JP Morgan boss Jamie Dimon. Okay, now he is well known for giving negative opinion on Bitcoin. In fact, sometimes ago, maybe I think 1 or 2 years ago, he says this. He says that if any of JP Morgan staff is found to buy Bitcoin, he's going to fire them, right? Now, then, of course, JP Morgan changed their mind and went from criticizing Bitcoin to integrating it into JP Morgan's product for the rich investor. Now, in a recent interview, he says, even if crypto or Bitcoin increase its value tenfold, in fact, he expects Bitcoin to increase its value tenfold, 10x in the next few years, I am not buying. Now, Dr. Clemen, this is a question, right, for you. It's just like someone saying, you know, I know that COVID vaccine can save life, but I'm not taking the jab. So what do you think of this kind of communication?
Wow, Richard, that is a really sharp question to begin our Wednesday live stream. And you know what, for someone who's giving us a kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of a response, by day he's one animal, by night he's another creature. So we have to go and audit trail. Audit trail what? Audit trail the money to reflect the man's thinking. And that's the clearest path. So on this note, let's take a look at exactly what he's saying right now. This news came out about JP Morgan boss Jamie Dimon. If you borrow money to buy Bitcoin, you are a fool. And this is coming out loud and clear, and it's just like, holy moly, just 23 hours ago. And then we're going to do our job as an investor of the asset class. Now, how do we do our job? I'm going to lead everyone right now to our proprietary software at Spiking. And I want to introduce all of you to this company called Marathon Holdings. Marathon Digital Holdings is the world's #1 largest Bitcoin mining company on planet Earth. Located in US, it's a public listed company. And what I want to do is track on the insider trading activities of this company. And what we are seeing right here is Q2, over $631.8 million worth of insiders' money went into this stock over a 3-month period. But what is even more interesting is we are looking at big names like BlackRock right over here. Holy moly. This is BlackRock, and they put in how much? 322% more Q1 versus Q2. But ironical part about this data is that we are looking at also JP Morgan right here. The very company that tell everyone you're a bloody fool, they went to increase by 400% more. They bought up 253,000 shares of this company called Marathon Digital Holdings. So I'm going to click on JP Morgan Chase right here. And you guys can see they are a new kid on the block, all right? First time they went into Marathon Digital Holding, that was in the year 2021 Q1. January, February, March, they went in to buy up 62,000 shares. That's cost them about $1.9 million. And then the next quarter, on April, May, and June, they increased the number of shares by 400%. Holy moly, that's 4 times more, right? 400%. And right now, their investment is $12 million on this company. So what can we learn from this? Everything, there's a shades of gray out there. And my friends, I want to encourage all of you, what we do to kind of screen out the smoke screen and all the fluff and hocus pocus and black box out there and whatever we call the Pandora boxes, we trace the trail of money. So the money will reflect the man's thinking, because nothing is more painful than taking a single dime out of the man's pocket. So there you go. You are singing it. He's telling everybody not to buy, but his company is buying up Bitcoin. His company is buying up companies related to Bitcoin. And there you go, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Now, Dr. Clemen brought a very, very powerful comment and lesson here. Out there are a lot of whales. Well, there are also a lot of sharks. Now, sharks and whales, they make money by influencing small timer to sell, right? So that they can buy it cheap. So don't be fooled by some of this comment where they kind of frighten many retail small pups and mom to let go of their product or their investment so that they can buy it at cheap. Then they thought they pump it up, then you got to buy it more expensively. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, like JP Morgan, the CEO, you know, passed all these kind of frightening news. But on the other hand, another bank called Morgan Stanley, is putting more money into crypto and Bitcoin. So Dr. Clemen, what is your take on this action by this another bank?
Wow, and JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, all these are the big boys on the block. And let's take a look at this article, Richard. You know, you have correctly pointed out and highlighted to us OTC trade, over-the-counter stocks, otherwise known as pink sheets out there in the public market. So today there are more than 10,000 public listed companies out there, but the smaller guys are what we call the OTC. So this is where the data is coming on board right here, all right? Morgan Stanley increases Bitcoin exposure, buys over 58,000 GBTC shares. Now, GBTC, otherwise known as a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, is trading as an OTC, all right? So it's not like a main-fledged kind of a stock, like a pink sheet. So what can we infer from this? Holy moly, they have kind of increased 928,000 shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and then they bought an additional 58,000 of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Now, what's the big deal about Grayscale Bitcoin Trust? And this is the part I need to highlight to the audience. You see, there are 3 ways that you can own Bitcoin. Number 1, you go out there directly to a crypto exchange and buy the Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin is split over 10 decimal places, you can buy 0.01 Bitcoin or buy 2.995 Bitcoin, 10 decimal places. Direct buying of the digital coin, number 1. Number 2, you can buy the producer that mines Bitcoin. Like what I highlighted just now, you can invest into a Marathon Digital Holding or Riot. And these are companies just specializing on mining the actual Bitcoin, solving complex mathematical problems, and they get rewarded on the process. The third way is by buying through a Bitcoin trust. And that is exactly what we are reading right up here. They don't want to hold the responsibility of keeping Bitcoins or as a custodian or whatever not. They just simply buy the shares of someone who take your money by selling you shares and take this money to buy into Bitcoin. And that is what Grayscale Bitcoin Trust offers. So in a likewise, you know, Richard has kind of highlighted to us, we started at JP Morgan. Right now we're looking at Morgan Stanley. And of course, the biggest of all them, of all of them is actually BlackRock. So I'm going to kind of jump back into our data right here. And we're going to look at this company called MicroStrategy. Wow. And as we know, Michael Saylor is one of the big giants out there. And you guys saw the video by Michael Saylor speaking to us just now. And I'm going to look at his company. His company is called MicroStrategy. I click on Insider right here. And then I go and click on Shareholders. Click on Shareholders. And what do we see right here? Let the data speak for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, dun, 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 dun. The number 1 shareholder is none other than Michael Saylor himself, who owns how much? 1.4 billion of MicroStrategy. But the shocking truth, number 2 shareholder is actually BlackRock. And BlackRock owns $732 million of MicroStrategy. And I want to stretch all of your thinking to a much higher level. And who's the shareholder of BlackRock, by the way? And that's none other than our sovereign wealth fund, Singapore's Temasek Holdings. So can you all see the relationship right now? This is how it builds up, all right? The highest level in our thinking is the sovereign wealth fund. Go down to the second level, we are talking about the biggest fund managers out there, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. This is second tier. Third tier will be the billionaires, folks like Warren Buffett, Nick Schumer, James Simmons, 𝐒𝐈𝐚, Ray Dalio, and so on. Third level, we come down to the millionaires level. And then the fourth level, we come down to corporate executives running these public companies. All of them are part of this asset class called Bitcoin. Back to you, Richard.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Clemen, for the insider information. Now, one of the most powerful knowledge that I have this distinction on is why billionaire are billionaire and why non-billionaire are non-billionaire. Oh, sorry, why people who are broke, and then why billionaire are billionaire. And that's because there are different way of thinking, right? Now, like for example, we look at why BlackRock has many trillions of assets. and they are still investing in Bitcoin, and why Temasek are still like indirectly associated with Bitcoin. Now, many of these huge giant company, they have scholars, they have analysts, right, to study and to do due diligence, etc. Something that we can't afford to have. I mean, we can't hire analysts, we can't hire expert, right? I mean, you can't hire another Clemen Chiang who can give you the detail, right? Now, the thing is that they have all the resources to hire all these people, and they have decided to go into Bitcoin. So maybe we don't have the resources, but I guess my knowledge and distinction is just to follow them. Cannot be wrong. You follow Temasek, cannot be wrong, because Temasek has done all the due diligence for you. Let me come to the third question, Dr. Clemen. Third question is this, that Bitcoin, there is an article that says that Bitcoin is poised for an explosive Q4. Q4, we are now going to Q4, October, in the next few days, we are in Q4, October, November, December. There's going to be an explosion, and we are just a few days away. And that is the headline that this article says, that Bitcoin is moving in a relatively predictable 4 years price cycle and based on supply halving. Question for you, Dr. Clemen, is can you help us and assist us to explain the chart and what it means? And we say price cycle beginning with the halving date. What does it mean?
Wow. That's a great question, Richard. And I want to pick out this very important table. And, we go look at a Bitcoin halving. And here we go. And let me pull out the images so that every one of us are in sync on the same analogy. All right. So here we go. I got a big image right here. And let me just expand on it. And found it. Check this out. This is called the Bitcoin halving impact on Bitcoin price. All right. So what is clearly stated is that we have gone through 3 halvings already. So let me walk all of our audience through this process. The very first halving is right here in 2013. All right. Right over here in this box. Now in 2013, what has happened is that it has caused the Bitcoin to kind of spike up over 9,200% within 368 days. Let me zoom in right over here. You can see this information. 368 days later, on counting on the day of the first halving, the price of Bitcoin shot up 9,218%. This is like monster. And then we go on to the second halving right now. The second halving happens right here in the year 2016. So every 4 years, there will be going to have a halving event taking place. And then from here, we kind of track again, hey, what is the price of Bitcoin starting from the first day of the second halving? And holy moly, I'm going to zoom in this part here and everybody can see very clearly. 525 days later, Bitcoin shot up 2,938%. That's 29 times. So the idea is that we remember it by 9229. Really easy to remember. First halving, 92 times. Second halving, 29 times. So that is 9229. So there you go. You got your lucky 4-digit number. Now, then the third halving right now is in the year 2020, which we are seated right here. And I'm going to kind of, from this point, reach over here to the Bitcoin chart in front of us. All right. So we always start off with the month in May 2020, and I kind of scale it up here, just expand a little bit. And here we go. All right. So this is 2020. And we go to the month of May. This is the month of May in 2020, which was the third halving. The exact date is 12th of May, right? So if we say that the third halving should come anywhere in between 9229, then jolly well, the current price of Bitcoin does not justify its potential yet. So the key question that everybody is thinking right now, hey, teacher, when are we exactly going to hit somewhere in between 9229 for the third halving? And everyone right now is pointing to a magical period. Let me enlarge my chart right now. The magical period is in the month of October, November, and December. So I'm going to put it right across here. October, November, December will be somewhere up here in the moon. All right. So again, we're going to go through 3 steps. Step 1, number 1, right here, we are trading at $42,000 today. Now, for it to fulfill its potential of a 9229 somewhere in between, then it must from here go to the previous all-time high, which is at 64,000. So I'm going to kind of articulate to you guys, it kind of float back to 63,000. That is the first milestone. Then from the first milestone of 63,000, it will kind of float back up here to fulfill its potential of hitting somewhere between 9229x. Now, that is the reason why everybody out there on the cryptocurrency world, they are saying that by November, December, which are the traditional 2 months for it to spike to the moon, that's what you're looking at. Everybody is predicting minimum 100,000 by end of this year. So if we put all these events coming together, what is so different between the first halving versus the second halving versus the third halving? So today, Richard, start off really, really nicely. We started with JP Morgan, and then we go on to Morgan Stanley, and then move on to BlackRock. Let me share with you right now. In the first and second halving, all these guys that we are talking about, the JP Morgan, the Morgan Stanley, and the BlackRock, they call Bitcoin rat poison. They call players of Bitcoin foolish fools. They call all kinds of nasty names throwing at this asset class. But what is happening today? Every single one of them, they got skin in the game. That is the difference of the third halving against the first and second halving. Institutions have come on board. Sovereign wealth funds have come on board. Countries have legitimized Bitcoin. And there you go. El Salvador right now will be known for the rest of the history as the first country in the world to legitimize Bitcoin. This has all happened within the window of the third halving event. And finally, let me give you all of you a blow-away thinking. And the blow-away thinking is what? Why did China ban Bitcoin in the first place? And kind of run through my thinking processes. And, you know, in our last video, we highlighted that if you want to own something for free as a country or as a government, what do? You first of all, make it illegal. So you got to ban something first, step 1. And after you ban something, and then you can go into step 2. Since it's illegal, you have the right to take over whatever is illegal out there. So for example, in Singapore, you are not allowed to carry arms like guns or pistol. If you are found having a gun or pistol at home, what do? The police come and knock on your door and take over your gun and pistol because that is by law. So we have seen this behavior last year by China that they go out there to seize Bitcoins under different laws of the Chinese government, whether it's a Ponzi, MLM, or whatever laws that they want to invoke. Last year, they took over $4 billion worth of Bitcoin for free because that's step 2. They already tell you it's illegal. We are coming after you. We take over for free. But they didn't show us the step 3. What do they do with the coins that they have taken over and what we call it seizure? They have not auctioned it off to the public. They are keeping it in their treasury. This is the step 3 that nobody is asking, nobody is telling, and a whisper of answer. And there you go and scratch your head and think, hey, what are they actually thinking about it? Let me give you an answer right now. Today, we are talking about the US considering buying Bitcoin for strategic reserves. This is a real big thing coming out there from the lawmakers of United States of America. And they are telling everybody, right, hey, if China is going to give up, let's go in and dominate this coin. So my friends, there's so many things happening out there. And, you know, this is the really exciting part. I'm always looking for this 3 times a week session with Richard. And my good friend, mentor, Richard, will ask me all kind of cutting edge questions that got me thinking really, really hard. But as we speak and spar with each other, you guys are checking on our blind spot. We are checking on your blind spot. sparring partners, sharpen knives, kind of sharpen each other. We go through this thinking process, we go through this articulation process, and then we must arrive at a single decision. And that is spiking to the moon.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. That's the reason why it is very important to have a community. And that's the reason why we are organizing the Global Bitcoin Festival. And this is a festival where we gather together all the like-minded people who are passionate about Bitcoin to come together as a movement so that we don't fall along the way. Yeah, so that we all come together and encourage each other and make sure that we are in the same path to adopt Bitcoin so that we can create wealth, and not only for ourselves, but for our family to come. Now, as you see that, every week, every month, new news are coming up, and some very frightening news may cause some of you to drop off. And when you stick to this movement, we all pull together, and then we are moving in one direction. Now, recently, I think yesterday, right, in Singapore, there is a news in Singapore. Let me just share with you the news in Singapore, right? Hand over, this news in Singapore. Yeah, so this news from the Straits Times in Singapore that Binance.com user in Singapore given 1 month to withdraw asset class. Yeah, and then if you read further, they says that a Binance user in Singapore given 1 month to withdraw their fiat asset, and Singapore user of Binance will not be able to use Binance for trading on 26th of October. Now, Binance has applied for a license in Singapore, and I can understand the Binance action is because Singapore, many things in Singapore are very valuable. For example, the Singapore IC is one of the most valuable IC in Singapore. The Singapore passport is one of the most valuable passport because a Singapore passport can go to many more countries in the world than any other passport. Now, a license in Singapore says so much about a company credibility. So Binance want this license. They have applied for this license. They want this license. And because they want this license so much, they have to fall in line to make sure that, before getting the license, they don't want Singaporean to use the platform so as to please the authority. I can understand that. Now, the next thing here is this. For many of you here, on the 26th of October, you will not be able to use Binance for trading. I'm quite sure your coin will be safe, your whatever asset inside there will be safe, except you can't use. So this is what we are going to do. What you're going to do to help you, all of you here, is this. If you are using Binance and you're thinking of another exchange, right? Another exchange that's very similar to Binance is 𝐿𝐴. 𝐿𝐴 originated from China also. They are public listed in Hong Kong. And I have invited a good friend of mine who is an expert on 𝐿𝐴 to conduct a class. And the class, how to use 𝐿𝐴 or an orientation of 𝐿𝐴. We want to conduct this class to teach many of you who may be thinking of using something that you're familiar with. And the best option is 𝐿𝐴. This coming Saturday on the 2nd of October. So if you are keen to learn how to use 𝐿𝐴, right, to replace Binance, which you are familiar with, come and join us. I'm going to ask Clarence to post it on our chat on this coming Saturday on the 2nd of October, 11 a.m. Now, 11 a.m. is Singapore time or Singapore Malaysia time. You just convert it yourself. You are welcome to join this class so that you can get familiar with 𝐿𝐴, right? 𝐿𝐴, which is very similar to Binance, right? So that brought us to the last question for Dr. Clemen. Yeah. Now, I am always very curious on the wheel, like cautious of the wheel, because wheel, they push the price up and then they buy the dip and then they push the price up. And many retailers, small timer, are being frightened, will get lost. Now, Bitcoin is a very, very volatile asset, as we all know. But people who fear losing their investment always scream murder at the slightest fluctuation. Now that the price go down to 41, everybody was nervous, etc. And some of you even exit. And when you exit, will buy. Now, so there are those who keep calm and stay invested. And for them, patient pay off. Now, question for you, Dr. Clemen, is with all this news in the market, China and all the other news in the market, can you tell us why you are so bullish on Bitcoin?
Wow, that's a great question, Richard. And the reason for bullishness must be based on three things. And I hope all you guys are writing this down. Number one, it must be backed by solid data. So the data I'm looking at crosses between Wall Street versus the cryptocurrency market. So the good thing about us working at Spiking is that we have visibility on the public companies, the insiders who are like the sovereign wealth funds, the funds of funds, family office, billionaire, millionaires, and so on. We can see an inflow of money entering into crypto-related public companies. Some of the names that you are very familiar with include Coinbase, Robinhood. Both of them have officially dong, 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 ring the bell on the exchange. So that is the clearest sign of the data. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. Number two, after looking at the data, then we kind of consolidate what everybody is thinking about Bitcoin as a single asset class. So I'm going to kind of bring forward an influencer in the crypto space, and this person just tweeted out on Twitter that Bitcoin stock to flow model, worst case scenario for 2021. All right. So let me walk through with all of you on some of the key salient points here. Starting from here, April 2021, they predicted Bitcoin will hit 47,000. And the question is, did this come true? Of course, it came true. And then the next prediction from the stock to flow model, it says right over here, September 2021, you kind of touch and hang about 43,000. Did this come true? Yes, it came true. Next one, October 2021, which we are stepping into the month of October this week, Bitcoin hit $63,000. You guys note this down and see whether this will come true or not. And then by the time we hit November, it says Bitcoin will hit 98,000. And it doesn't stop right there. Minimum 135,000 by December 2021. So I'm showing you what the professionals who invested so much on data analytics, who are studying the blockchain movement, in and out movement of the wallets, all this putting together, everybody is looking at 135,000 by end of this year. Then step number three, we look at data, we look at the pundits, the analysts, putting all their best due diligence together. Step number three, what are we looking at? The change of law. And the greatest news that ever came out in the third halving is that El Salvador has made Bitcoin the original legal tender currency of the country. Started with this country first. And thereby, you will see a whole domino effect, more and more countries out there who want to save on the cost of remittance. And they're trying to help their own developing country to become a developed country. There's no other way for them to compete except to adopt Bitcoin. And you're seeing all this starting from the highest level country, moving down, cascading down to Bitcoin ETF, to Bitcoin futures ETF, to public company sovereign fund, everything coming down. By the way, dear friends, Bitcoin halving 1 and Bitcoin halving 2, you don't have such data. Right now, with such data and you're second guessing it, I don't know what else you want to look at already. So, this is really, really important. And that is also the reason why, Richard was sharing with us about Binance. And I want to show you guys this article. Now, they are falling in line, and Richard used exactly the correct words, falling in line so that they can win over the regulators. That's how serious they are. Why would they want to do that? Because they know an approval from Singapore's MAS is the best green light that he can show to all regulators on planet Earth. You just focus on the Singapore one, the rest will also fall in line. I'm talking about regulators. That's the reason why they're cleaning up this shit that they have in the past and say, okay, starting from October 26, if I'm not wrong, we're going to have a clean sheet. Let's go in and apply with a clean sheet. And that's the reason why we're telling all of our viewers that, hey, if you have coins in Bitcoin, just move out. There's so many other crypto exchanges that you can migrate to. This Saturday, you have Huobi, you have Coinbase, you have Robinhood, you have 2 upcoming IPOs coming from FTX.com, from Gemini.com. These guys are the legit guys. Go out there and take your move. Don't leave it to chance, so that you never know what's the next news that's going to come out. All right. So I think this is good advice for everybody. And as a result, you are seeing completely the data that Richard and we are seeing together. And that's the reason why Richard is leading us in this massive Bitcoin movement. And we are kind of tag along with our big brother here. Richard, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Thank you, Dr. Clemen, for your wisdom and analyzing what's happening in the world and sharing with us, so that we all get inspired and motivated and take action. So thank you very much. And for those of you who want to study how to get familiar with Huobi, please, you are welcome to join us at the on this coming Saturday. Now, that's the reason why we organize this Global Bitcoin Festival as a movement to gather all the passionate Bitcoin holder, and also encourage everyone around in the whole world to own at least a little bit of Bitcoin and to increase the adoption of Bitcoin. So Dr. Clemen, we have 1 month to go. Can you give us one last wisdom on why everyone should come, and not only should come, but to encourage all their friends to join us at the Global Bitcoin Festival?
Oh, yes, Richard. You know, I want to straight point to our website, globalbitcoinfestival.com. And as all of you know, the time is really counting down. It's kind of making you nervous right now. We have 29 days counting down with 13 hours on the go. Now, what does this mean? This is the moment in time where you're going to have a part of the milestone in the history of Bitcoin. As you know, all of us are really looking forward to November, December. And even then, so January, February, March, these are really the most important 6 months ahead. Now, how do you get yourself prepared for this massive price movement? You can't do it alone. Richard and myself, we can't do it alone. Michael Saylor can't do it alone. Jack Dorsey can't do it alone. Katie Woods can't do it alone. All of us are coming together looking at a single problem. We are asking ourselves, what's the future of digital currency? And when we talk about digital currency, the mother of all digital currencies must always start off with Bitcoin. This is the official first digital currency on planet Earth. That's why we are zooming in on Bitcoin itself. And then from there, the value proposition, since it's fixed supply at 21 million, then the question we should be asking ourselves is, of this 21 million, am I going to be an early mover or a late comer? Because it's a fixed supply. The guys who go in early, own the coin, and that's it. They'll hodl onto it. They will not let go anymore. So you can only have this kind of a commitment and conviction provided you're part of a movement together with us. That's the reason why we like to invite you guys to the Global Bitcoin Festival. First of all, it's completely free. Second of all, you join part of the movement. You know about the latest think tank issues that we are thinking about. And number 3, we have great speakers lined up for you over the 2 days of the event. All right. And more new names going to be announced really soon. And we just kind of don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet and keep you getting surprised. But what is important is you got to register first. All right. Or else all things is coming to none. So encourage you guys, go ahead, click on the link below and sign up. And we look forward to see you at the Global Bitcoin Festival on 28, 29 of October. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen, and thank you everyone who take your time to join in. And until we meet again on Friday, all the best for today. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Besides COVID-19, one of the hottest topic around is cryptocurrency.
Welcome to the world. Bitcoin Festival ever happened in the history with world-class top speaker.
And we believe that Bitcoin is the best financial instrument to store your wealth against inflation and capture the value of your hard work so that it won't leak.
So the very good ideology about decentralized, one perfect example, that would be Bitcoin. No governments in the world can manage it. It's 100% decentralized to every common man across the planet.
Bitcoin is deemed property by the IRS, and most countries deem it as property, which makes it an asset, not a currency. And the strongest currency is the dollar, and the strongest asset is Bitcoin.
It's not what I want or you want, it's what the institutions want. Institutions that are just stepping in or considering getting involved in allocating to crypto want one thing: Bitcoin. We're not going to print $2 trillion worth of paper. That currency is going to be digital.
So here's stocks. The government will make sure it doesn't crash. Gold will not crash, but crypto could. You know why? Because the Fed doesn't want to. Because the reason I like crypto, the reason I buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that stuff, is I don't like the Fed.
Hello, I'm Dr. 𝐒𝐸𝐤𝐚, Bitcoin Academy Lead Professor. I will teach you how to know exactly when to buy Bitcoin and what the Bitcoin and the other crypto are going to do in the coming months.
Biggest gathering of Bitcoin enthusiasts coming together to create an extraordinary movement.
The Global Bitcoin Festival in this October. And this is a gathering of industrial experts and enthusiastic, passionate Bitcoin community. It is a movement. This movement aims to update, to promote, to educate the adoption of Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to join this movement. Yeah, sign up for the link below for this movement, the Global Bitcoin Festival. And I'll see you there.